And the pot's in the background. Welcome to today's stream. It's me and FPL Heisenberg, and by the sounds of it, FPL Heisenberg's lady friend. How are you, Wes?
Indeed, yeah, all good, mate. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm working from home, eh?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Well, look, guys, welcome to the stream. Today, we're going to talk to you probably for about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on how long it takes us to get through it, on all things. Wildcard's obviously the big topic of the week. We'll cover that. We're going to talk about priorities and fires that need fought and players that need bought. That rhymed really nicely. For people who don't have wildcards like me and Wes, we're both wildcardless. We're going to talk about fixtures and fixture swings. We're going to talk about our plans for the game week, and we're going to talk about captaincy options. And Rich, straight in, cracking new camera for Wes. He's got the lighting set up correctly. He's got a beautiful hairdo. The beard's looking well groomed. Do you know
Not sure on the haircut, but I'll take it, John. Thanks.
You're looking pro. You're looking pro. Jeez, my like, I'm all over
Trying
the
to.
place here. I'm just realised like my camera's obviously wonky, or maybe that thing is wonky behind me. You can't see me, but I'm not looking as good as you these days, Wes.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've been rambling here for a couple of minutes now. Wes, how was your week?
All good, John. Yeah, had we both did okay, didn't we? In terms of FPL last week, good ranks, climbed up a little bit. Just sharing this with a few guys on some WhatsApp groups actually to get everyone involved. So 2 seconds, John.
No worries. You get it out there, and sure.
There
If
we go.
everyone who's watching can do us the favour, go over to Twitter or take a screenshot of this and say, "Oh my God, I'm having so much fun watching the guys, so much knowledge." Just go and put it in your WhatsApp groups, put it on
Yeah.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, wherever you can. It's all much appreciated. And before we
Everyone's going to want to see my new camera, John. Which
that's
I think
it.
I prefer the old one actually because I was looking a bit blurrier and you can get away with it. But now like it's just fully my face now. I can't no hiding.
Unforgiving, yeah.
Yeah,
So, look, big shout out to Ray Brath, who was first in the comments. Phil Wright's there. Our good friend Rich following in, and Rishi Patel. We have Daniel Matua here. We have Vas Felix. Joshua Schoon is here. Millsy J. Cathal McKeel. Dr. Pedja. I'm looking through. I think that's all. If I've missed you, I'm sorry. But look, welcome to you all. Thank you so much to the stream. Apparently, there's a big echo.
could be mine. I'm in a big room, but you're just gonna have to deal with that, guys.
Oh,
You're just gonna
okay.
have to love the echo.
Yeah, Kenny, if it's just Wes's echo, you're either a sound man or you need to stop caring. If it's actually something like a bigger issue, let us know. You panicked me there as the guy who set this up. Anyway, yeah, Wes, before we get into it, we've said hello to everyone. Alexander Kirev's getting in the comments too, saying hello now. Make sure you subscribe to the Hub channel for more of this. I'm John, that's Wes, aka FPL Heisenberg, and we host the FPL Double Up podcast. You can find it where you get your podcasts, and Hub are nice enough to have us for this FPL stream. We like to do this a bit later in the week when there's a bit more news and you can make more of an informed decision. With podcasts, it's one of those things where you kind of need to get it out early in the week so it has a bit of shelf life. Otherwise, you can't stick a podcast up now. People would have 19 hours to listen to it or something stupid.
Yeah.
But anyway, Wes, will we just get right into it? I've asked them to do all the things they need to do, like the video, so that Hub will have us back. And I think
Yeah.
that's about all, isn't it?
Yeah, that's about it, John. And we was talking off there, wasn't we, about a developing story that I wanted to kind of address. It's something that I don't really speak on my social channels or anything like that, just because I kind of choose not to. But I really like the fact that Swansea and Birmingham have taken a stance on social media today to basically the headline of the story is that they're taking a 7-day break or boycott, sorry, of all their social media channels because of the ongoing issues with the online racism that many players have been subjected to. On the new every day on Sky Sports News, you're hearing of Van Aardenholt today got abuse for someone lost a bet, and it was to do with the Palace game, so they gave him racist abuse. And there's hundreds of other stories in there that we all know about. And yeah, I'm just really happy that they're taking a stand, trying to do something. Thierry Henry as well came off social media for the same reason a little while ago. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of throw my support behind that for whatever it's worth, and say that me and you, and well, I won't speak for yourself. I'll let you do that in a second. But basically, we're right behind that, and against any form of discrimination. And for our pod, John, and for this, we have people all around the world listening all races, all creeds, all whatever you want to call it, and we're just very anti. As most decent people are, anti-racism, anti-discrimination, all that. So I just want to throw my support behind that.
Yeah, 100%. It's one of those that it's like, it's just like, do you know what? It bugs me because it just feels like there's so much. You just wonder where these people come from, or like, what the fuck is the story that they're brought up that way? I just don't get it. You know, there's so much like awareness and all, and everyone's aware of it, but what is there to be aware of? Like, to be aware of what people are fucking dicks. Just stop being fucking dicks. I just don't get the discrimination. If another adult is anything, be it their race, be it their sexuality, be it anything, as long as they're not fucking harming anyone, I just don't get why people just don't live and let live. It grinds me. It really gets to me. If we were maybe bigger on social media, well, Wes, you are big enough on social media, but maybe me taking a week's break would be a stance or be a big thing. But like, I just think the bigger sort of thing here is, and I'm all for it. I think fucking social media and everything else, like how big it is in today's life, it is everything. Everyone uses it. I think there should be ID checks. I don't think faceless accounts should be allowed. Yours included, FPL Heisenberg. You should be. But
that should be. You're right. In terms of my account, for example, should be linked to an ID upload of my actual identity and a legit email address, maybe even my real address. I'm not too sure of the ins and outs, but every faceless account and regular account like yourself, you're just as John Nellis, aren't you? Again, that should be backed up with some form of ID, so that anything you are saying is you're held accountable for it. That's what I'd like to see. Will we get there? Will the social media companies do it? I guess it's against their, the way they make profit, obviously, and stuff like that. So it'd be good. I think they will get things like this from Swansea and Birmingham, and if other big social media accounts do it, which I think it will snowball into other football clubs will definitely follow suit. I can see that happening. So hopefully change can come about that way, or at least make the social media companies do something. So let's hope. I think with everything, like if you think back to the sort of 60s, 70s, 80s with racism problems in Britain or in other countries, it's definitely improved. There's still further. We still need to go further, of course. But people think, they can't see it changing. I can, because I've seen society change over 30 years of my life, whatever. So I am confident that it can happen, but it's not just going to happen on its own. Things need to happen.
It's too slow moving, It's like, how the fuck do we speed this shit up? And I mean, awareness is amazing. It really is. Education is everything. But just supposed to wrap that up, I'm a big believer that social media should be IDs. Everyone should have it, because even and it's nowhere near even half as cutting, and it doesn't even remotely affect me, but I'm sure you've had your trolls. I've had my trolls say horrible things about me, and they're just little faceless accounts, and that's what it is. And I think if everyone was held accountable for their actions and responsible and could actually be tracked down, it would go a long way to stopping the hate that we see online. But online's only one part, real life's another thing. But anyway, Wes, there you are, lads. There's an 8-minute intro of us saying fuck racists and everyone else who's a dick, basically. Hopefully Fantasy Football Hub agree and have us back. If they don't, we don't want to come back. Right, we'll move on, Wes. So first up, wildcard talk. When is the good? We popped our wildcards a bit earlier. A lot of people are lucky enough to still have them. People are asking, is it time? Should I pop it now? Should I pop it in a few weeks? 34, 35. I think it's all squad dependent. I don't think there's one size fits all approach here. But for me, it does seem like there's been a big switch in terms of fixture swings we're going to talk about. We talked about it on our pod. And I think it is a good time, but is it the best time? Again, it depends on how your squad's set up for me.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of people that seem to be doing it now, like you said. And again, I don't know if that's a sort of Twitter bubble or if it is generally a big week where it's happening, but there is a good reason to do it. It gets you can use your wildcard to set your team up for the last 8 weeks of the season. If you left it till, there's going to be a big double game week, isn't there, in game week 35, I believe. If you left it till then, it can be a good strategy, because you can then obviously really attack that double game week with all the best players with the current information, but then your wildcard's only going to be serving its purpose for 35, 6, 7, 8, 4 game weeks. So I think it's a good idea to do it now. Keep maybe one eye on the later double game weeks. Bring in players from Spurs who obviously have a double game week in 32. Make sure you've got maybe Kane and Son in place. And yeah, likewise with sort of Liverpool have got a good fixture run. A lot of people are going to want Jota and Salah and maybe Trent slash Phillips at the back. What, three out of those four. Leicester is another one with a fixture switch, and there's a few teams, isn't there? So yeah, it's definitely a good opportunity to do it. But I do know of people who have their wildcard in hand and they're not doing it this week because they're happy with their squad, because maybe they've got the likes of Rafinha and Lingard and some others who maybe their fixtures aren't great right now, but maybe they're just believing in their players essentially.
Fixtures, like, yeah.
Yeah, potentially.
So yeah, that's it on when to wildcard. Let's pretend we're wildcarding this week for a while, Wes. Now, for people who aren't wildcarding, me and Wes aren't wildcarding. We're in the same boat as you, so we're talking about things. I mean, wildcards are interesting because everyone's doing them, but even if you aren't wildcarding, you're still going to have to make a transfer or two. So once we talk about the players we'd be targeting on a wildcard, we're going to talk also about the fire. I've written it down here as the fires that we feel need fought. So the players that need gone, if you have them, or the players that have the situation has changed. And equally, who do we now want? Like, who is in our thoughts that maybe wasn't a week or two ago? And so that's what we're going to talk about. Wes, I can pull up, I've got a couple of graphics here of wildcards of ours. Now, this is actually just my team from last week. People can see on the screen. That will be going away now. So, which one do you want to go through first? Your one with Salah or your one without Salah?
Go one without. I'll put it up on my phone because I'm a little bit behind on the stream, aren't I?
Yeah.
So bear with me whilst I do that.
This is a wild card that Wes built for this stream, and he did it without Salah. So this is the one without Salah, and obviously that lack of Mohamed gives a lot of balance elsewhere in the team. You can see, there's a 6.1, 7.3 million defenders there. We've got Fernandes, Son, Kane, Vardy. There's a lot of depth. But sure, look, talk us through it, Wes. And while you do that, I'm just going to let people know. Do you know what my girlfriend bought the other day, and I have no idea why. She bought us 2 of these Fat Frog pre-mixed tin things. So I'm going to be drinking an Alco Pop while streaming FPL with my buddy Wes.
I like it.
Just thought I'd make that known. It's not my normal beverage of choice, but it's been thrust upon me. Anyway, Wes.
I'm looking forward to that one popping up on the screen for me for a couple of seconds. So yeah, this team I built here, we'll get onto the Salah one in a minute. It's kind of a little bit weaker elsewhere, but this one allows you to probably play a 3-5-2 with Ian. Well, actually, it allows flexibility. You'd bench probably the player with the weakest fixture. So maybe this week, for example, you'd bench Rafinha away at Man City. Oh, there it is. It's just popped up for me. Lovely. But yeah, maybe this week you'd bench, say, Rafinha with that squad, Rafinha, Dallas, and you'd have a real dilemma about who your third bench player, maybe Luke Shaw away at Spurs, something like that. But it allows for flexibility. If someone like Iheanacho does lose their place, then you've still got 7 other good attackers there to play each week. You can relegate Iheanacho to your bench until maybe Bamford's fixtures switch back in about 3 weeks' time, and you can get him, or you can get Antonio if he somehow becomes fit, or back to Watkins if he's looking like a good option again. But in terms of Iheanacho and Vardy double up, they have both been playing well recently. In that Sheffield United game, I think it was Iheanacho hat-trick and Vardy got a hat-trick for assists in that game, so they've proven that they can play together, score goals, and it's really nice when obviously you've got 2 players who link up for the goals, and they have got a nice run of fixtures. Again, we're going to get onto the fixture swings later. But yeah, I think that's a really nice squad. Like you said, you've still got expensive defenders in there who can do the business. Diaz, who's probably the most nailed City defender that we think at the minute. I do get a bit worried though, for those of you looking at Diaz or any sort of City player. I do think that Pep is going to prioritise the Champions League more and more as time goes on, because it's the quarterfinals now. Then if they get through to the semis, then it's obviously even more important. And will he wrap Diaz in cotton wool before a second leg of a semi-final of the Champions League? I think he possibly will. However, having said that, with that squad, you've got the likes of Shaw, Rudiger, Alexander-Arnold and Dallas. So it's okay if he misses the odd game because you've got good backups.
Yeah. It's one of those, I think, like with Diaz, like if you needed to save a bit of cash, we've talked about it recently, where like you could maybe go to a Stones or someone. They aren't as nailed, but when they do play, we talked about this recently about Stones, it's 90 minutes or 0 with him. So at least if he doesn't play, you're getting your bench guy. You don't want a 30-minute man. But Diaz, that's just if you want to save a bit of cash. But I like the balance in this team. Again, if people wanted to save a bit of money in defence, and maybe this is what the next wild card's going to be going in the direction of, to get Salah in, because I think I haven't actually looked at it. We talked again about how Kabak and Phillips are great value at Liverpool.
Yeah.
at 5 and 4 million respectively. I think 4
So
million.
it's a big saving, isn't it, on
Yeah,
Trent?
I think
Yeah.
that's 3.3 million in the bank, which could change after
Mm.
game week 32, maybe with a double for Spurs. You could change that Son into a Salah.
Yeah.
Do you know? So even if this was your wild card, you've got manoeuvrability there.
Yeah.
I think 4 million for a Liverpool relatively nailed centre back, albeit could be rotated if they drop Fabinho or someone else in the hole.
Hopefully they don't, like you said, I think he's, again, I don't know, maybe it's Liverpool, I know Rich is in the comments and he's a Liverpool fan, but from what I can gather is, well, again, watching games, they're going to want Fabinho in the middle, aren't they? In
Yeah,
centre
yeah.
midfield,
I mean,
sorry.
I would imagine so.
Yeah.
I've
You
been
never know,
stung one
yeah.
too many times.
Exactly,
Um,
yeah.
but
And
even
he's
as
not like he's not an undroppable asset, is he? Like someone like Van Dijk used to be. You could see it happening. Yeah, I get you.
But I like the balance here. Do you know, you've got that Chelsea defender, you've got a Chelsea keeper. Obviously, they conceded
Yeah.
5 to West Brom, which is scary, but it
Mhm.
isn't putting you off.
A
With
one off. I put it down to one off, down to 10 men. Maybe
Yeah,
most of the Arteta went. They just went away in the Champions League, didn't they? And got a 2-0 win. So they're not bereft of confidence. So that should be a good boost. I know it's only Porto, but still, Porto are a better side than West Brom. I don't know. It was just one of those freak performances, wasn't it?
and a shout by the way, and I know it's not like he's slept on in terms of. I'm going to move my camera a bit because I'm sitting wonky here. Um, the Mason Mount does not
Mm.
get the plaudits he deserves, and now he gets them. Don't get me wrong. This is one of those. It's weird because I know he definitely gets them, but like people talk about Phil Foden, Jadon Sancho. We talk about Mason Greenwood, and they talk like they're the next big thing. Mason Mount is the next big fucking thing, and he's right there,
Yeah.
and he's doing it. He is doing it.
Yeah.
Um,
A million percent agree. And also, like you said, he is getting the credit, but he's also he had this tag of Southgate just favours him,
and
or
Lampard loves him. You
Just
know,
Lampard just saves him. And then I was again on. I can't remember if I said this on the pod or something, but I did say to my friends, I remember the argument that when Tuchel came in, that I was backing him to stay in the team, and then it's been proved right. So yeah, I want to double down on everything you just said there, John.
but I don't know why I brought Mount up. Maybe just because I was talking about Chelsea. But in
No,
terms of this wild card, like, sorry, was you want to say something?
No, yeah, sorry, I was just eager to say that, yeah, this wild card, and I think the next one doesn't have Mount in, but yeah, you could easily, these are just examples of wild cards. There's many of the players I'd like in. Do I like Mason Mount in that team? Yes, I do, but I like the others, so it's hard to fit him in. Do I like Salah? Obviously, yes, but again, can't fit him in. And likewise with, Diaz isn't in the next screenshot that's going to come up, but that isn't to say that I don't like him as an asset or whatever. So yeah, Mason Mount. If anyone showed me a wildcard and they've got Mason Mount in their team, I'm not going to be telling them to take them out and pick this exact team that I've drafted. There's many good wildcard teams you can do, and Mason Mount is a great asset to bring up, John. Because
It's one
like
of
even when
those.
he was, sorry, last point. Even when he was dropped against, or not dropped, he was rested against West Brom. They needed a goal, so at half time, it wasn't like after 75 minutes or anything. At half time, he was brought on, and boom, he scored. And he's just scored in the Champions League as well. So yeah, he's in good goal scoring form. He's got good assist threat as well. So yeah, definitely a great asset. And he's fairly reasonably priced at around 7.1, I believe.
Yeah, he's one of those that I would never really. I haven't considered him for FPL all season because he's
I
been
know,
rotated
I
a bit,
know.
and Chelsea have
Yeah,
been in and out of form, particularly with Timo Werner and all. But like, again,
yeah,
it's one of those shouts ways that I so often try and do, where it's like maybe not now, but I think in seasons to come he could be one of those dominant midfielders that's always in FPL teams for 10 years. Maybe it's a bit of a big statement, but and he'll obviously be in and out of form, and there could be transfers involved. Who knows? But anyway, just a statement sort of on Mason Mount.
no,
Um,
it's a good point. It's a great point, in fact.
right. What I was going to say though about this wild card though is that I love the balance in this with Son and Kane for that double. We have
Mm.
like Vardy as a monster, Rafinha and Lingard shit hot form. Jota in midfield there with Trent. Do you know you've got Lingard? I said about Lingard. Bruno is Bruno. Rudiger and
Yeah,
Mendy. Blah 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 blah. Doesn't need talked about anymore. Solid wild card. Forster as the 4 million keeper. Love it. Right.
nice.
On to the next one. This one has Salah, so you've obviously had to go for a bit more balance here. For me, it looks like you've downgraded Diaz to Christensen, so you're going triple Chelsea defence, like our good friend General. And Salah is in the team, and you've changed Vardy down to Vidra. Where have you spent that extra cash other than Salah? Is there money in the bank here, or am I missing something?
I'm just waiting for it to flash up. I think it is on. Salah's coming for Rafinha, so that's like almost 7 mil. That's like 6.8 mil. So That's why
Ah,
Vardy has to become Vidra. That saves about five-ish something mil, doesn't it? And obviously the
right.
money on Diaz. So yeah, having Salah in for Rafinha is a big jump up. But this has a really expensive midfield with Salah, Fernandes, and Son and Kane. So this is, I guess, these two drafts I'm just kind of showing is if you're toying between your premiums of do you really want a Vardy or do you really want a Salah? The last one was maybe a bit more balanced, but this one, Vidra, again, I'm not saying Vidra's a great option at all. He's purely there for his price. He'd be on the bench every week, maybe even third slot. Um, but yeah, this one it doesn't sit right with me, this wildcard draft, to be honest. It's a valid one. You could go with it and you could play a 3-5-2, hoping he naturally keeps his place, blah, blah, blah. And then, defensively, you've still got good options. If one of your Chelsea boys gets rotated, you've got Luke Shaw, Dallas, Trent. So
Mm.
this is a Salah one. You could definitely improve it. Like you said, John, if you thought that it's mainly about the Liverpool clean sheets, you could go Trent to Phillips, and that would give you 3.3, like you said. And then all of a sudden, Vidra could become Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison, Watkins, Bamford, Antonio, whatever. Obviously, Antonio's injured, but you know what I mean. So yeah,
Yeah.
if you wanted to improve that Vidra spot, it would obviously just lead to massive benching headaches every week if you did that. So at least with this option, you kind of haven't got that benching headache because you've got Vidra there, who's he scored last game. He might play. Not the best option in the world, of course, he's not, but no benching headache if that's how you like to play.
Yeah, like my gut feeling when I looked at this straight off the bat was I personally would be getting rid of Trent, going to a 4 or 5 million Liverpool defender, and I'd be upgrading either Vidra or Iheanacho or
Yeah,
both, if depending on how much is in the bank there. That's probably what I'd be looking at. But do you know, horses for courses. Everyone's going to have wild cards. There's no correct answer.
yeah,
Again, another big thing people will be doing is loading up on triple spurs, which neither of these wild cards have done. We're not
yeah,
big fans of Gareth Bale at the minute, even though I have him and I'm kind of debating getting rid of him ahead of 32. But other than that, that's a quick talking point. If you had to go for the third Spurs guy, who would it be? Do you
yeah.
like Lucas Moura? Do you like Reguilon? I think you've mentioned Lloris to me.
Yeah, exactly. So I haven't got a wild card, and I'm debating how to do it for my team. Kane and Son are the obvious ones, and there's even an argument that Son's not in great form. But yeah, for a double game week, I think Son's a must. The third Spurs asset is really tough. Like you said, it would be those. It wouldn't be Bale. I wouldn't have Bale. Yeah, I wouldn't have Bale. I would have potentially Reguilon, but again, I'd want to judge if I was going to bring in Reguilon. I'd want to do that in game week 32 if I knew sort of Ben Davies was definitely going to be injured or I wasn't scared of rotation essentially. Lloris is obviously just a safe way of getting three Spurs players who either play both games. Lucas Moura, I guess, is one of those assets that maybe the past is affecting me, and I'm kind of a bit anti Moura because I don't know if he is going to play both. But on kind of current form, he's doing quite well, isn't he? So
Mm.
yeah, so if I had to put my neck on the line and pick three for the guaranteed starters thing, it would be Lloris, Son, and Kane for my own team, and finances. Some transfers I've lined up means that I'm going to be having to. I can't really afford Lloris, so I might end up going to that double game with only two Spurs, which I'm not delighted about, but I think needs must.
Yeah, we'll get into our sort of plans a bit later in the show. I have some potentially drastic plans, but equally I might just play it really cool. So I'm either going to make one or two transfers or go balls to the wall and make four. I don't really know what to be at, but we'll get on to that. So I think we've talked about the wild cards there. Now, Wes, if you didn't have a wild card, are there any players? Like, I'm going to get rid of this graphic now, and I will throw up just the normal FPL site, and
Mm.
maybe just go over to my team or something, uh, or your team or whatever. But are there any players out there at the minute? Like, I know you're pretty anti-Bale at the minute.
Yeah,
What fires need fought? I've said this about 4 times now. For
yeah,
me, in my team anyway, and he'd be a highly owned player as well. Not highly, but well owned player enough. Is like Matt Target at Villa, or other
mm.
Villa defenders. I'm not really
Yeah,
enjoying that.
same.
Gareth Bale is kind of meh, no, but there is 32. If 32 wasn't there, he'd have been gone already. But it's a
I'm
tough
just
one.
worried. I'm just worried that he doesn't play both. He might only even come off the bench in one of them. He's really down the pecking order. The subs in the last game, Son came on, then Lamella, then it was Bale right in the last minute. When Son and Lamella were both out, Son with injury, Lamella with a one-game ban, he didn't play a single minute. And that's two attacking midfielders who were out of the equation. He still couldn't get a game. So or wingers, whatever you want to call them. So yeah, how does he fit in if he's going to keep playing Kane, Vinicius, Lucas Moura, Ndombele? Is Bale going to get a game in a minute? I can't remember, but there's a lot of players there. I'd be really surprised if Bale starts both of those or gets any decent returns in. He has to start. Yeah, for me, you've got Kane and Son. You could possibly lose Bale for the likes of Jota, and then in week 32, if you wanted that third Spurs asset, then you could bring in a Moura, a Reguilon, a Lloris.
You see, I want to talk about my team, but we'll get on to it. That's in terms of players to get rid of. Are there any other kind of relatively high-owned ones that maybe we aren't?
I'll double down on. I've got Villa's fixtures are flipping negatively. So yeah, the likes of Martinez might be okay for save points, but me and you have both got that double Villa defence. You've got Target, I've got Konsa. Neither of those are offering attacking returns either. So someone like Dallas has three bad fixtures, but I'm thinking maybe hold him on the bench and bring him back in for the easy fixtures. And also, even if I did have to play him, he's sometimes playing in midfield, so you might get an attacking return. Like earlier on in the season, United battered Leeds 6-2, and Dallas was annoyingly coming off our bench. Then all of a sudden, Dallas pops up and scores a goal because he was playing in midfield. So you've always got that out. You've always got that chance with Dallas. Whereas with myself and Konsa, he could obviously score. Anyone can score in a game, but it's not as likely as Dallas. So yeah, Villa defenders out. Any sort of Man City asset, I've got Gundogan. I'm looking to get rid because, like I said, Pep is targeting the Champions League. The league is won. He has a big squad. He has no injuries at the minute, and yeah, he's happy to play any of his squad in any game, it seems. So Gundogan's one who's on his way out for me. And there's a few more. Obviously, Antonio's looking like he's going to be out. Someone like Watkins and Bamford, it's like fixtures aren't great. They're not really producing as much as we'd want them to. I know Watkins scored last game, but if you take that away, over the last few weeks he hasn't been great. So yeah, there's definitely a few headaches. I'd love a wild card this week. I can see there for yourself, John, a West Ham defender, which is reminding me that their defence seems to be pretty poor at the minute from memory. I haven't got the stats in front of me, but they're, if I'm on a wild card, I'm not looking at West Ham defence, put it that way. For your situation, you've probably got other things you want to do, and Cresswell could possibly stay in for his set pieces. Again, his chance for attacking returns, etc., etc.
Yeah, it's one of those where, like, again, that's this kind of section. It's about priorities of fires to fight. It's like, I have way too much going on here. I have two keepers that do not need to both be there. I've Target who needs gone. Loughton's not doing much. Dallas is questionable, but I'll probably keep him. Stones is there as kind of a rotation-y type guy. Cresswell not doing great. I've got Bale. I've got Bamford, who I'll probably keep, but and then I've Calvert-Lewin I'm not a fan of. So like my whole team I'd kill for a wild card, but it's about prioritising decisions. I've two free transfers. I'm likely to make at least the two changes, but I'm starting to even think, I could really just do like a mini wild card to set me up for the season, take an 8-point hit and be done with it. But I'm not a big hitter. I'm not a big hitter in terms of I don't like taking hits very regularly.
It can, but I know. Yeah, and I'm not saying you should or shouldn't do it, but what I would say is, and I'm not against hits, but I don't take them very frequently. I do if I think there's an opportunity to do so. And is this one of those occasions for yourself where you could get rid of, just looking at the team now and completely off the top of the head, could you go, Target, Loughton, Bale, Bamford out for Jota, Vardy/Iheanacho, and better defenders like Trent or something.
Phillips even get that 4 million in there.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
Sort of stuff,
it's a -8. You've lost 8 points, but you're in a good position overall rank wise. So I think you're 4 points ahead of me. So assuming that will take you down, you'd probably move down to like 17k, but you have a squad that you're happy with sitting at 17k to then go and attack the season. So it might be one of those one step back moments to take 2 forward potentially. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I've got 2 free transfers. It's one of those where I might just use 1 to get Jota, or I might do like you're thinking, maybe 3 and really freshen up my team. I'm just not sure yet, and I need to be, because deadline's tomorrow as well, isn't it? It's a Friday deadline. So yeah, I need to get it figured out soon.
Well, guys, look, before we go any further, I left it this long before nagging you to like the video. I see 25 of you have already been kind enough to do it. Please, please, please do like the video if you're enjoying it. There's over 100 people here, which is lovely. And there's many more watching after the fact. So, just turn your phone on its side, move your little mouse over. Please click that like button. It means Hub will keep having us back, and it helps this video get found and makes us feel great. We really just want you to do it for the endorphins and for our reviews. But, yeah. So, do us a favor.
We're feeling sad at the minute. You need to perk us up.
Like the fucking video. So, yeah, there's that. Okay, will I whip up this fixture swing kind of graphic?
Yes, so this was from FPL Tips with a Z on Twitter. Most of you guys will probably know him. He's got a big following. Writes for the Hub as well. So I don't know if he's watching, but I think he does some YouTube. Yeah, he does some YouTube streams as well. So this is just a really nice way of seeing the fixture swings. I'm just waiting for it to come up on my screen actually, John. As you know, I'm watching the video a few seconds behind, but essentially I'm going to try and pull it up on my phone. Oh, here we go. Yes, so yeah, like he's put in there the teams to sort of target of Leicester, Arsenal, Wolves, West Ham is a bit hit and miss for me in my opinion. We maybe flick those up to, maybe I'm wrong on that. They have got some decent ones, a bit of a mixed bag, but they've got something to fight for as well. They're fighting for fourth place, and Liverpool obviously we know how good their fixtures are. And then the ones to avoid, I'm glad he put Fulham in there. They blank as well. So again, I'm seeing this is a point on wildcards. I'm seeing wildcard teams out there where putting Fulham and Southampton assets in, along with some City assets and some Spurs. So a guy's wildcard team has already had 8 players who didn't play in 33. That's just a big no-no. So you want to be, if you're adamant on having City players, you definitely want to avoid Fulham and Southampton. If I was on a wildcard, I'd have no Fulham. What's that? Don't say.
You've been delayed there. No, it was just for Jesse the J in the comments said they liked the video, so I just give him a little thank you.
Right.
Sorry, cut you off.
Yeah, sorry. So obviously everyone can see the teams to avoid there as well. But like I was saying, those Fulham, Southampton, and Man City and Spurs assets, just keep an eye on Gameweek 33 because they're going to blank. Spurs, I'll still probably be targeting Spurs because of their double. Then after that, they do blank, but then they've got 2 good fixtures, so they're in the mixed fixture bag for that reason. Probably because they've got Man United this week, so it's a difficult one to manage. Actually, we're going to talk about transfers to prioritise one, John. But so, for example, for my team, I do want Son in, but do I want him before Man United when I could get Jota, who plays Villa first, and Jota's obviously in a bit more. Is in better form, isn't he? So, yeah, this is a good graphic just to get your head. You should, when you see things like this on Twitter, some more advice. You should see that, and then you should go and dig in and do your own research. So, because you might agree or disagree with Harry here about certain teams. Like I'd probably disagree on Spurs, for example. I'd probably put them in the stronger fixtures, target those boys because of. I've seen that now, you wanker.
I love the delay.
Yeah.
But no,
not after the -8, hopefully.
I agree with what you're saying though, because I was thinking West Ham. I'm just after looking at Cresswell's fixtures, and it kind of goes like I would put him in the mixed bag because they go Leicester, Newcastle, Chelsea, Burnley, Everton, Brighton. You know, it's kind of like a bit of a mixed bag. But anyway, maybe West Ham are stronger than I give them credit for.
No, exactly. But things like this, I do like seeing that because then this gets my brain working, and then I go look in the fixture myself, and then I think, well, hang on a minute, I agree with teams A, B, and C, but maybe I disagree with X and Y. And then all of a sudden, without even realising that you've researched into these fixtures, and then you can bring up your own players to pick from. But there are a few maybe traps out there to be wary of. Maybe the Wolves defence, they're cheap, but do you want to go for the cheap Wolves guys in defence when they looked really poor defensively against West Ham, didn't they? So there's certainly players that, yes, they might have good fixtures, but just be wary of them.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great graphic. We've been talking about fixture swings. It's been said a lot on Twitter. It's been said a lot on podcasts recently, and it's nice to be able to just see it because all the information like that's crucial whenever you're wildcarding. But obviously do your own research whenever you're doing that because ultimately if you make your own decisions and you know you've made your own decisions and you're happy with the decisions, the outcome doesn't really matter. Whereas if you just get caught up with FOMO or do something because someone else said, even us included, you know, if it goes tits up, you could be kicking yourself thinking you should have made your own decision. Do you know what I mean? So Wes, yeah. I actually have lost my little notes now after writing silly notes for you. What have we got next? I've had it next that we'd maybe talk about our moves and what we've got planned. So, what if you got planned? I'll whip your team up again. You'll have the small delay there. But I whip up your team from last week. You had a 75-point week, which is amazing. You're 80,000th in terms of game week ranks. You had a great week. What are you changing?
So like I said earlier, I think I'm potentially doing Gundogan to Jota looks fairly nailed on. Excuse me. I would like to keep Gundogan, but I'm just not confident he's going to start because of the Dortmund fixtures. He could start, of course, but yeah, I think I'm leaning towards keeping Rafinha and starting him, even though his fixtures is obviously tougher. Can you see that now, John?
Can I see what?
Oh, you missed it, damn.
I was busy doing things. Did you write a silly little note for me?
Yeah, I did one on my phone because I don't have a pen and
paper. Yeah, I missed that. I'll have to watch it back. But no, I was down busy looking to see what you have 3.3 million in the bank, which is lovely.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I do have a bit of money in the bank. So yeah, it gives me that flexibility of being able to choose my transfer. I've got a screenshot, it's too late. But yeah, I'll try and... My next 4 transfers are... potentially going to be, I don't know what order yet, but Antonio to Iheanacho, Gundogan to Jota, and saving some money from the keepers, Edison to Mendy. I would like, obviously, like I just said, that third Spurs player, but I can't actually afford him, and also Chelsea really good for clean sheets, so maybe I just forgo an extra double Gameweek player and just accept that maybe Mendy can match Lloris in one game that Lloris might get into, because Spurs aren't great defensively, so yeah. So it'll be Edison to Lloris, and then for the rest of the season, probably just keep the Villa and the Chelsea keeper, and just rotate as I see fit. And then my third transfer would be, my fourth transfer would be Rafinha up to Son. I have the exact cash for those 4 moves. I'm not sure how I'm going to do them. I'm not going to do all 4 this week. But I'm likely to take a -4 either this week or next to achieve those 4 moves I just said.
Yeah. It sounds solid. Sounds like you've got a nice plan there. Definitely a better plan than me.
Can I just jump in at one of the before we move on to your team, John? One of the comments from Yvonne who's part of one of the Hub WhatsApp groups actually. She's just said, Smith Rowe, anyone know if he'll be back? And I think he is back. I think he is fit. So again, look into that. It'll be fairly clear if he is or not. But if he is fit, he's a great option for a wild card or transferring if you need that budget enabler. He can sit on your bench as your bench midfielder, 4.2 or 4.3 million, so really, really cheap. And he's got some assist potential. And because of how bad Arsenal looked in their last league game against Liverpool, I can see Smith Rowe definitely coming back into that team and being a really important part along with Saka, because they really missed those two. And it was even said in sort of commentary and stuff like that.
Well, Parker...
Yeah.
Says back in the team tonight. And side note, Yvonne, I think it's a lovely name. It's a name I like because whenever I was a baby, my first babysitter was called Yvonne, and she used to warm my nappies. She was a really nice woman. Like, she literally looked after me really well. So there we are. Yeah. Big shout out to the likes of Lucas and Megat in the comments there. I like you all debating with each other and keeping the conversation going. And fair play, Wes, after my little call to arms saying, here, get your likes in, people listened. We went from 25 likes, and we're currently sitting on 58. Can we get it to 100? Only time will tell, Wes. Go on, guys. Play in. Let's gamify this. Okay, so Wes, yeah, look, you've got nice plans there. Lovely to see. In terms of myself, if I go over to my team and transfers, I don't really have plans. I've just got so much going on. I'm really a bit lost. I've got Pope there, who ideally I'd like to play against Newcastle instead of playing Martinez, who has a tougher fixture playing Liverpool.
Yeah.
But so I don't think that is that isn't a priority for me. I'll say that.
Yeah.
So
just jumping. Sorry, John, I keep interrupting you, but just jump in there. I'm kind of in the same boat where I think with keepers, we've both got too much money in our keepers. Especially me. I've got Edison and Martinez, so that's even more money than you've got. But we both haven't needed the money as of yet, and there's no point doing that sort of Pope to Forster because it just makes you feel better about not leaving points on the bench or whatever. There's no point in doing that if it's not needed. So like I said, this week he's got a good fixture and maybe you've got other fires to out, and maybe you don't need to free up that money just yet. If you do, then it is a good place to go. If you do ever need that money, you can do that. But at the minute, if you don't need that money and you can make your team elsewhere better, have a little bit too much money in your keepers, it's just going to have to be one of those things for both of us.
Yeah, so look, that can be dealt with down the line. For now, I just have a little bit of choice in my keeper. And do you know what? I don't know what it is with my mindset this year, and I keep banging on about it. It really has changed. Like, I like people who don't want to have two decent keepers and they want to just get rid of one so they don't have to make the decision. The decision's what makes the game. And look, make a decision and don't rue the decision. You know, embrace it. Like, you've made the call. If it goes wrong, we keep saying it. Bad bets win, good bets lose. You just make the right decision, and you don't actually need to care. That's it. The decision is the game, not the actual outcome. So,
and it's like the whole bench point scenario where people want to have maybe a Kisumo or someone, or someone like that who they can just bench every week. Whereas yourself, John, you're 13k in rank now. You've been as high as like 6 or 7k or something, and you had so many weeks. When Soychek was bagging all them goals, he was just stuck on your bench, but kind of was like, a bit annoying. Would rather have the points, but it was the right decision. I had 7 of the better attackers on paper, and it is what it is. Just by having points on your bench, so say if you didn't have Soychek there and you had a dud like Basuma, like I just said, your rank would be exactly the same now. It's nicer to have those bench points because it gives you a player who's more in form, and you might get lucky and he might come off, or lucky is the wrong word, but you know what I mean, he might actually come onto the pitch for you. So, and likewise with keepers, maybe you bench Martinez this week, start Pope comes down with coronavirus, Martinez comes off your bench for a big score away at Anfield, and therefore it's lucky, but it's actually, you've got 2 playing keepers. So yeah, I hope that makes sense, rambling a bit.
No, it does. No, I hear you. So I'm basically tinkering around here, ways, because I can either, I don't know if I have the balls on me to go -8, but I could very easily go a -4. The decision is Jota or Salah for me. It's not a case of both based on my current setup. I'm thinking would I rather get rid of Bamford or Calvert-Lewin? Like, that's a tough one as well, because I'm not loving Calvert-Lewin, but Bamford's next 3 fixtures are rough.
They are tough, and you've got that the Rafinha, so you'd have essentially 2 Leeds attackers. I'm happy to carry one, but I wouldn't really want to be playing Rafinha and Bamford away at City. They could prove me wrong because, like I said before, they got battered 6-2 away at Man United, but if that happens at City and they lose 6-2 and you've got Rafinha and Bamford in, that's not even the worst thing in the world, is it? But yeah, maybe it's hard for you, Bamford, Calvert-Lewin.
Vardy, Jota and Phillips in, get rid of Target, get rid of who was the other guy there, Bale, and get rid of Bamford. Like, that's solid enough, isn't it?
Yeah, so it would just be a -4. You'd have that Vardy in, who's got those good fixtures. You'd have Jota in with those fixtures. And you'd have Phillips in with those fixtures and the price saving there. So if you did need, I don't know if that leaves you any money in the bank, but that would leave you. Okay, yeah, so not as much, but yeah, still, you've got quite expensive strikers there, haven't you? But yeah, if you did, getting Salah in your situation is not looking likely. So you're going to have to ride out Salah unless you kept Bamford and obviously change Rafinha, but obviously Salah's 2.2 million more than Vardy.
So that would mean going to a -8.
Yeah,
I'd have to maybe get rid of Calvert-Lewin. So we'd probably be going Calvert-Lewin down to.
Makes more sense doing what you've done, and also I'd rather keep, if I had to keep one out of Rafinha and Bamford, it would be Rafinha because of how well he's playing. And Rafinha always looks likely to get, if Leeds score, he looks likely to get the goal or the assist. In the game just gone, he obviously only got the 1 assist, but if Jagielka doesn't score that own goal, and it won't even show up on the stats because it wasn't a shot on target or an XG or whatever, but he was there to tap it in against Sheffield United, but Jagielka got there first and scored an own goal instead.
Yeah, so I'm looking there, and I think that's probably going to be the move, really. I'm just tinkering about, really, but I think Bamford, Bale, and get rid of Target and bring in the 3 that I'd selected. So Jota is a shoe-in at his current price. He's actually not here, is he? I'd have to go to search up Liverpool. So maybe bringing in Jota, just to kind of get it on the visual. In terms of forwards, bringing in Vardy, who I really fancy for the upcoming fixtures. Do you know, he hasn't been scoring a hell of amount of goals, but I mean, he's been setting them up, he's been playing great football, there's good fixtures there, there's a 13-pointer inbound, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And the last one, no, that's it, isn't it? That's all of them. So 0.3, 4-point hit. That looks like a much better team than what I'm currently having to field. So,
Yeah.
that being said, those are the transfers made, say, for me. You've done yours. Who are you going to be captaining in the upcoming game week?
I don't know, but just some of the comments have caught my eye that I just want to quickly rattle off. We'll do a proper question section later, guys. So when we ask for questions, don't pump them in. We'll answer them. But just because they've caught my eye, someone sort of said about Madison, thoughts on bringing in Madison, and again, Savon has probably, in my opinion, correctly said wait and see a little bit longer because he was kind of eased back in with his last injury. So I do agree with that. Madison is a player I like, and definitely before this injury, he was looking really, really good. But yeah, it's probably a week too early, especially with Iheanacho playing so well. Brendan Rodgers doesn't have to rush him back into the team because he can continue with the team that's been playing and playing well. So I'd wait at least a week, see how he's doing. There's another comment as well. What was it? There's a lot of women in the comments as well, John, which is unusual for us, but I definitely like that as well. It sort of ties into what we're saying right at the start about the sort of discrimination and racism. Obviously, women get a lot of that sort of stuff as well in football. So
Stereotypes,
good to see there's it's not just male dominated tonight. I think I've lost the comment, John. So maybe we'll just move on to what was it? I don't know. I think I've lost it. So yeah, we'll just move on to captaincy. I haven't really got anything good to say because I need someone to help me with captaincy. I don't know to pick myself.
I think but this is the thing. This is why weeks like this we need to embrace, because we've had a few of these recently where, there's a lot of weeks have gone by where everyone captains Bruno, everyone captains Salah, everyone captains Kane, everyone captains Vardy, everyone captains X, Y, and Z, right? But there's weeks like this where it's like, I feel like you can guilt-free have a bit of fun, and you don't need to like, again, it's about that decision making. It's a fair enough decision to have a bit of fun, because none of these players are going to be captained so heavily that it's like you have to captain them. Do you know? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe who are Liverpool playing there? They've Aston Villa. Maybe it's a Salah Jota week. I'd say they will be the ones who dominate the polls for the week. Unless I'm missing someone. I don't have them on my team at the minute. But when I bring in Jota, he could be a captaincy option for me.
Yeah.
But outside that, Kane's a fair shout. Calvert-Lewin at Brighton for me is a fair shout. Captain and Bruno in any fixture is a fair shout. Lingard is on fire. Captain him against Leicester. Go for it. Son, okay. Yeah. Rafinha, okay. That's a bit crazy. Bamford and Rafinha would be a bit crazy in my opinion. I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. In terms of what you're saying, it is one of those weeks where some weeks, if someone came to me and said, I'm going to be captain player X, when one of Bruno or Kane had such a good fixture, I'd just be like, no, like, you've got to pick your battles. Some weeks you've got to be boring and you've got to go for that player, 99 times out of 100, you'd just be silly not to. However, like I said, this week, the two top point scorers in the game, Fernandes and Kane, are playing against each other. And outside of that, other premium assets who would usually maybe go with, say, the De Bruynes of this world, the Sterlings, the Agueros, are, it's Pep, it's rotation, what's going to happen there. And also players like Aguero and Sterling, you definitely don't want long term. But you might want them for this week to captain them. I get that, but in most people's teams, you're not going to have those players because they're not good long-term picks. So for me, in my team, it is between. I guess Salah has got that easier fixture. I'm possibly bringing in Jota. If I do have those two, it's a dilemma between those two for captaincy, and I might even go for the cheaper one, which is Jota. I do feel like he's in better form. I might change my mind on that. I don't know. I'm really undecided. But the good thing, guys, and again, to sort of plug Hub a little bit, I put my team on Balance Football Hub every week, so that article will be out tomorrow once I've actually made my decisions. But in terms of captaincy, it's tough, like you said, John. I think this is a week where go for a bit of a more punty one if that's what you want.
Absolutely. Like, I'm looking here, in all these fixtures now, not all the fixtures, but you could pick someone who's going to be relatively well owned that isn't a ridiculous shout. Now, Wolves and Fulham is probably a bit ridiculous, but I guarantee you there's going to be some fucker in that fixture who gets 12 points. So if you've got one of their players, good luck to you. Man City, if I had De Bruyne, I'd probably captain him. The only risk is rotation for the Champions League because that's all Pep cares about now. But it's Man City, and De Bruyne wants games, and De Bruyne wants goals and assists, and it's Pep, God knows. But I mean, captain and a City player, if you have them, which I don't, isn't a bad shout. Liverpool players, good shout. Chelsea players, captain and defender. Alonso hit the post twice or something last week. If you think he's going to get game time,
Mount as well. It's Palace, isn't it? So someone like Mount, yeah.
Yeah, check it out. I mean, have fun this week is what I'd say, within
Yeah.
reason. But be aware that Liverpool will be the dominant captain choices. Burnley, Newcastle, nothing jumps out. West Ham, Leicester. Now, Leicester are conceding goals as far as I'm aware. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me just double check.
West Ham are as well. Could that be a high scoring game? Could Lingard, Vardy, Iheanacho all do well in that game? I think possibly. Obviously, we've got to be wary with West Ham. Well, it's possibly a good thing for Leicester, but with West Ham, Declan Rice is out injured, which harms their defensive abilities or capabilities, I should say. And Antonio's out, which possibly weakens them as a team. Bowen played well there off the bench at Wolves to cover for him, so it might not be a big loss for their rival team. I don't know, but a lot of people, some people are getting a little bit worried about Lingard saying, "Will no Antonio harm him?" But yeah, I don't think it's like when Kane is missing for Spurs.
Yeah.
As much as I like Antonio, he's in my team, for example. I do think that West Ham can continue to do well with the likes of someone like Bowen leading the line. Bowen and Lingard as kind of two fake strikers, or whatever you want to call them. So yeah, Leicester, West Ham, high scoring game maybe.
Yeah. Spurs United, God knows what'll happen. I'll probably steer clear, but I mean, Kane could get two there quite feasibly, as could Bruno. Arsenal, Sheffield, no one in Arsenal has really nailed enough for me, but if you have a Lacazette, if you're one of those weirdos, good luck to you. West Brom, Southampton, do you know, if I had Danny Ings, okay. If you've got Pereira, like, geez, he's in shit hot form against Southampton. I'm going through them all here. Everton against Brighton, I wouldn't be captaining them, but I mean, like, DCL,
Richarlison, they both got so many chances against Palace, they just couldn't score them. So like, there's two ways of looking at that. That they're in bad form from a finishing point of view, or they're in good form in terms of getting their positions. Richarlison, I don't know how many shots he had. It must have been 6 or 7. So yeah, again, like I said, John, why not? It's not because Kane and Bruno normally one of those two has a fixture against a team outside the top 6, but this week they're playing against each other, and there's theories out there that I kind of subscribe to quite a lot actually about how basically captaining a player against a top 6 team isn't as fruitful, and it makes sense. And how many 0-0s have Man United been a part of this year? City didn't even score against them at the Etihad this year when City were on fire. So yeah, I think it is definitely advisable to pick a player who isn't playing against another top 6 team, which is why I'm going to be avoiding 2 players who I love in FPL, Kane and Bruno.
Yeah, so look, I mean, I don't think I could emphasise it any more than I already have, but
you need to apologise to Billy Brooks, please, John.
I was going to bring in Laka, but John says I'm a weirdo. I think, no, look, I was actually fighting his case in a way in our podcast this week, whereas I was saying about how, like, do you know what, he's getting goals, he's getting returns, but I don't know, he's just one of those that's been overlooked for so long, and there's always that kind of, I don't know, it's just something about Arsenal. There's almost like a Man City-esqueness to them, except they're like a shit Man City in terms of rotation. That's what they've got from Man City. The rotation. They don't have the ability. There's no like standout guy. That's what I was saying. I was saying there's no guy. There's no Aubameyang. There's no Sanchez of old. But look, Billy, good luck to you. Captain Lacazette, and then come back to me and say I'm the weirdo next week. I'll take that in the chin every day. But the underlying thing here, and I can't emphasize it anymore, is for me, this is a week where you can maybe afford to have some sort of fun. And even though it is crunch time, maybe I'm wrong, maybe people disagree, but if you're planning to sit down on a Sunday evening and watch a game with your mate or your dad or whoever, your mum or your sister, there are a lot of females in the house, do you know, by all means, captain a player in the game that you're going to be watching, have a bit of fun. But maybe people disagree, and that's me just getting a bit carried away from our stat heavy and FPL, I don't know, optimizing kind of heads. Anyway, Wes, I'm rambling now. Before we get into the last section, we'll take a few questions from people, Wes. Everyone, make sure you hit the like button. Do me a favour, go and get it done. There's a lot of viewers here now. We want to hit that magic number of 100. It would be beautiful. And thank you so much to everyone who's already hit the like button. Wes, will we take questions or anything else?
Yeah, and also, if people watching tonight or whatever, if you've seen this, you've liked it, and you're into Twitter or WhatsApp, share it with people, get the word out. That all that sort of stuff helps, doesn't it, John?
Absolutely, because I mean, we kind of just rocked up on the scene mid-season. We haven't really promoted this in any way, so all your help is much appreciated if you enjoy our content. Right, Wes, questions. If anyone has questions, fire them at us, and we'll try and get around to a few for 5 minutes, and we'll try and wrap up at 9.
Right, let's go. Rich has one that I'd like to answer very quickly. If you had to lose one of Salah or Bruno on a wild card this week, which one would you lose? If I had, I'd keep both personally. But if I had to lose one, I would lose Salah. I think Bruno's more consistent in terms of double threat with the assists. Salah's only got 4 assists this year. Bruno's got double figures. Um, and the fact that I'd lose Salah would be because I'd have Jota as well. So I'd have that attacking Liverpool player and I'd have that attacking Man United player in Bruno and Jota. But I want, just for the record, I'd keep both.
100% agree. And I actually think if Jota was a Man United player in the form he's in now at the price he's at, I would switch the answer. I think Jota affects that massively. I really do think that can't be understated.
Exactly.
For me,
Jota's
Mike,
a big part of that answer, yeah.
TAA is not a must, and actually I think a lot more questions need asked. Everyone's getting Trent in after a great performance against Arsenal. I get it, but look at the season. Look at the shocker of a performance against Real Madrid. I have a shirt on my wall behind me. I don't think he's even remotely a must. I don't even think he's remotely. I think he's getting way too much hype in the FPL community. That is Twitter.
Really?
Personally, I do. And I mean, don't get me wrong. He'll go out next week and he'll get 2 assists, but I just don't think as much emphasis is being placed needs placed. I think there's better places for money, but that's just me.
I don't. So TAA, it's not a must for me. Not virtually no player is a must anyway. But Trent definitely isn't a must, and especially as you've got valid other options in the Liverpool defence to go to, in the likes of Nat Phillips, who can cover those clean sheets. He can't probably cover the attacking returns, I know that, but he can cover the clean sheet element of it. No, it's definitely not a must. I do prefer Trent to Robertson at the minute, watching the games. I didn't really watch all the Real Madrid game, but in terms of the Premier League games, Trent's looking better than Robbo, and they're virtually the same price. I know Trent's maybe 0.2 more, but I prefer Trent. I like him as an option. If I was wildcarding, he'd probably be in my wildcard, but he's definitely not a must.
I agree. Billy Brooks is put off Lacazette because he started tonight's game. Guy Parfitt, who I believe is the guy who said I have a kind face, says wildcarding this week and wanting a 1 week punt midfielder to remove for Sun 32 for 10 million or less. Thoughts? Even though I know booking in a transfer can go wrong, and it can, but for a 1 week punt, Wes?
No, so I feel quite strongly on booking a transfer for 1 week. So let me just read this question one more time. One punt to remove. No, I wouldn't be doing that. I wouldn't be taking out a player for 1 week. I don't mind looking ahead to the fixtures and in say in week 35, 36, when Leeds fixtures turn better, you could maybe think, right, at that point I will bring back in Bamford, Rafinha or Dallas for X, Y and Z. I don't mind that. But what I don't like is when people are on a wild card and they say, right, Sterling this week home to Leeds, bring him in captain and then transfer him out, because you're using a transfer. Transfer is valuable. Other things could go wrong with your squad. So no, I don't like booking in transfers for 1 week. So that's my answer for that.
So Wes says get Son, stick him on your bench or play him against United. And I have to, if you're hell bent on having the punt,
you disagree. Again, just to jump back in. Guy can disagree with me, you can disagree with me, John. There's many different ways of playing FPL, but if you want to know my advice on how I play the game, I would never do a book in a transfer 1 week. I always like to wildcard, then save a transfer if possible, so then I have 2 going forward. That's just how I play. It's not right, it's not wrong, it's how I play.
Ty Wes plays. If I had to pick one for a 1 week punt, just to kind of give him an answer, I would be half tempted. Well, Jota obviously stands out, but I imagine he'd probably already be looking at that on a wild card. Maybe one of the Arsenal lads against Sheffield, if you can try and work out who's going to play based off minutes tonight, might be a shout. Mount could be a shout. I like the idea of Pereira to continue that form against Southampton, who haven't looked too steady. So there's a few answers. Maybe a Wolves player against Fulham, but fuck that. Forget I said that. Neto maybe. Thoughts on double Liverpool defence, Robbo and TAA rather than Salah along with Jota, says Rishi Patel. I would personally, based on balancing a team, price points, whatever else, for me, I would be going one of those plus Phillips, one of those plus Kabak. I don't think Robbo has shown enough. I don't think Trent has shown enough. I've already said that. But if you're going for one, it has to be Trent. I would make that Robbo a cheaper one, personally, if I was hell-bent on double Liverpool.
Agreed. Trent and Phillips for me.
Trent and Phillips. Would you buy Lingard or Neto? Lingard every day for me.
Agree. Lingard, 100%, so good, and people are saying that he's outperforming his stats. However, it means very little to me because his finishing has been superb from places where maybe XG isn't that good. He ran from his own half and scored the other day, and it was a really confident finish. Lingard.
Thoughts on Semedo, Aït-Nouri as a bit of a punt on a wild card?
No,
Get Phillips.
absolutely.
Or get, I don't know.
Yeah, if you want a Wolves defender because you're going to plan to rotate them for the very easy games or whatever, then that's fine because they have got nice fixtures. But I'd go Cody. I think they didn't. I think the problem the other night against West Ham is Bolly came down with was it COVID or another illness maybe, and therefore they went to four at the back. If they're playing their usual 3-5-2 with Bolly in the centre, they are a lot better defensively. And at that point, I'd go Cody for 4.8. Semedo and Aït-Nouri, I wouldn't go for. I'd go for Cody out of any of the Wolves defenders if I was going to go for any.
We've already covered best captaincy options for the week. Sorry, Rohill, you might have to watch back afterwards. Ray Brath, is Son a must this week? Remembering Spurs beat Man U 6-2. Is Son a must?
No, it's not a must. I'm not, like I said, with my transfers, I'm prioritising Jota first. I think that Man United team played a completely different tactical setup in that game, and Ollie learnt his lesson in a big way. And in all the big games since then, I don't think they've conceded against the top six since. Now, I could be wrong in that, but they definitely got a clean sheet away at the Etihad. They've had many 0-0s. They have all with Chelsea. So in a lot of those big games, United have ground out clean sheets, which is why I'm happy to actually play Luke Shaw in that one. But no, this game this week isn't going to be another 6-2 in my opinion. It's going to be low scoring.
Yeah, you can afford. I think you can afford to give Son a week. He'll be as close. He'll be as close to a must as he has been all season for me in 32.
Agree.
This
John.
week, no, but again, it's very hard to say anyone's a must. People can
in
be.
30,
In
32. Yeah, this week not a must. Next week, yeah.
Question from Megat there. We've already went through captaincy. Parky, would you take Fofana on a wild card? Stranger things have happened. Wouldn't be top of my list, but okay.
Doesn't excite me. I don't know about his attacking returns, but from memory, it's got to be low. I can't remember a goal he scored or assist. It's got to be
good fixtures there, but
yeah. But the Leicester defender who would excite me a bit more would be Castagna. He looked really good at the start of the season, but again, in terms of recent sort of form, hasn't pulled up any trees, of course. So yeah, it's difficult to pick a Leicester defender. I probably wouldn't pick any. They have got good fixtures, so yeah, it's not a bad choice going for Fofana. But I like other options, or if you can stretch to it, maybe Castagna, but it's probably overpriced actually. So maybe Fofana for the value reasons. So yeah, maybe I'm incorrect there. I'm kind of not for or against that move.
Rafinha or Mount on a wild card. For me, Mount every day if it's between those two specifically, because Rafinha's fixtures are horrendous, even though he's amazing. He's going to be top 4. He's going to be. I don't know who he's going to be, but he's the man. He's gonna be Sadio Mane all over. Do you know what I mean? He's going to be an attacking winger for a top 4 club in one of the big clubs in Europe for years. That's what I see. Maybe I'm wrong, but he is elite. He is elite.
Yes, very, very good. For me, that question of Rafinha or Mount on a wild card. When I've built wildcard teams and I've kept Rafinha, again, it might be just me being loyal to him because he's served me well. It might be the rotation putting me off Mount. I would go for Rafinha. It saves you 1.6 million, I think it is. I don't know. I can't remember the top of my head, but saves you money. And ride out these couple of tough fixtures for Leeds, and then they've got some decent fixtures, and he's involved in everything. Plays 90 minutes every week. Mount, will he be safe for the Champions League? I don't know. So again, it's not very helpful because John said Mount. It's a valid answer from John. I've said Rafinha. I think that's a valid answer, and it's FPL. There's no right or wrong. Have a little look into both.
See what your bank balance is like in FPL and make a decision.
Yeah.
Mihailo's asking about Gundo. Me and Wes got rid of Gundo a few weeks back. I wouldn't be sticking on him personally, just for rotation, Champions League, everything else. It's a headache at City. But if you want to keep him, do. He might get you. Play him each week and sure if he plays, he plays.
It's a worry if he gets 10 minutes off the bench. So for me, he's going to become Jota this week in my team. So yeah.
He mentioned about Rafinha, Dallas and Bamford. Get rid of them, some of them if you can, but don't be afraid to keep at least 1 or 2. I don't know, there's a lot to that. We kind of covered it because I have all 3. I'm getting rid of Bamford, I think, but I wouldn't be. I'd say you can definitely afford to give up one of the attackers, Bamford or Rafinha, but they aren't a big thing that needs done. But Rafinha can make space for Jota, Bamford can make space for I don't know, another attacker who has much better fixtures.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, or will we move on?
No, let's move on. I'm just trying to catch up because I didn't realise that I was kind of stuck in one spot, but there's loads of questions
Oh,
coming
there's
in.
loads. We're not gonna get through them all. We'll do a few more. Kabak or Phillips depends on balance for me. They're basically the same thing.
So for me,
Phillips.
that's why I'd go Phillips. Why spend an extra 1 mil when you can get someone who's probably just going to get you those clean sheets? So yeah, for me, save that 1 million. Even if you might think, oh, I don't need 1 million, I can afford Kabak, but at some point you might need that money. So definitely Phillips for me out of those two.
Helen wants to know on her wild card how many good players should you have on the bench. That's a tricky one. That it all depends on the balance in the squad. It's a tough one. It depends if you plan on rotating. It depends on a lot.
And
if
you've got rotation risk in your squad, the likes of a Gundogan or Mount or whoever, or a Chelsea defender, then you don't want to have complete duds on the bench like real cheapies like Brewster, and then some like I've seen drafts with like Mitchell from Crystal Palace just to save money. So yeah, you can maybe stick with one playing keeper for the first of the season and maybe one dud on the third bench slot, but I think you do want two good subs. The week just gone, two of my outfield players missed out, so I needed two bench players. And my squad's like fairly deep and fairly good picks. So yeah, I think you need a good couple of bench options.
The next question is actually hilarious. FPL Jukebox says, question from Wes. John, how do you get your sound to be so good? Your sound must be pretty bad.
Yeah, I don't know. Cheers for that, Jukebox.
Wes is fucking raging. He's got a hit out for Jukebox now.
Yeah, can we kick him out?
Right, we'll take one or two more ways before we do. Last time, look, we're at 84 likes. Get us to 100, guys. Come on. Mike, Peter, Sean, Stephen, Ray. I'm calling out names that are and aren't in the chat. There's probably a Wes out there. There's probably a John. Get off your fat hole. Get up, go over towards, get your remote, and then, like, I don't actually know if you're watching it on TV, maybe you can't put comments in. Anyway, do what you need to do. Go and get it done. Help the boys out. Right, is there any more that jump out at you? There's a lot of this or that, this or that, this or that. Are there any that jump out at you? Fergie is taking Davis, Kieran, isn't it? Kieran Davis at Villa on his wild card. What do you think on that?
Again, if he's going to put in third on his bench every week, then it might be okay because, like I said, he could have two good defensive options to come in. But yeah, I wouldn't be going there. I kind of did a draft with Vidra earlier, didn't I? Which I guess is
same thing,
in the
but
same
better,
same ballpark-ish. So yeah, I'm not anti it if he's got a plan. I'm sure he's got a good plan to go with it. So yeah, it can work as long as you've got, like I said, a couple of good other options on your bench. If he had Keenan Davis along with Mitchell from Palace and another defender who doesn't play, then I'd say no. But as long as he's got another two good bench options, I'm happy with that.
Very good. Ray Brath has liked it already. Mike Williams just made it to 90. I've checked. We have 96 thumbs up. Now, this might change live ways, but 96 thumbs up, 4 thumbs down. I'm guessing the 4 thumbs down are from racists and bigots because we called them out. I'm guessing, but maybe I'm wrong. Right. We'll take one more question.
One more.
I've seen 2 or 3 people mention Jesus/Aguero for a 1 week punt. Like, thoughts on Jesus? I've seen that.
Yeah.
Or Sterling. We'll talk.
Sterling, yeah.
We'll talk Man City attacker for the week.
Okay, so for me, if you're going to be wildcarding next week, which isn't necessarily what most people are doing, then you could use your transfer this week on a 1 week punt and then wildcard them out. If you're going to be wildcarding them in, like I said, I don't like to book in transfers, so I just accept that. I'm not saying Sterling, Jesus and Aguero could all do well against Leeds, of course they could, but I just don't like booking in the transfer, so that's why I don't have a wild card. I won't be transferring any of those in because I'm going to want them straight out, and on a wild card I just build a squad for the future rather than picking one of those guys for a punt. But like I said, there's many ways of playing FPL. My way isn't the only right way. Bringing in those guys can work for you, but it is booking the transfer. It might end up leading to a -4 because you might have another fire to put out. So yeah, for me, I wouldn't go near them unless, like I said, I was going to wildcard in week 32 and therefore I'd take that 1 week punt.
Well, Wes, look, I'm kind of regretting answering it about Sterling because Ollie W spam on us, the bastard. Ollie, get out of here.
Oh yeah,
give us a like on your way out with your spamming.
Times, yeah.
Right. guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. This is the most like sort of engaging stream we've had in a couple of weeks. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for tuning in live or not live. Thank you for everyone who's dropped likes. Thanks for everyone who's been in the comments. Thanks for everyone who's liked it, engaged on social media, getting this out there. We'll hopefully be back. I haven't checked the deadlines. I haven't checked my schedule, but next week might be good. I can check now, Wes. Will you give some parting comments?
Yeah, thanks everyone for watching and listening and interacting. Like I said, the question, like literally, I couldn't keep up with them this week because I was just scrolling through them all. There was just so many in there. So, yeah, thanks everyone for that. It's been a really good stream, John. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think looking at my schedule, if it suits you, same time next week could be a plan. Similar deadline next Friday, and we'll try and go for the Thursday at 8 p.m. again. If you enjoyed this, genuinely, the fun doesn't stop here. You get to go over to Twitter or Instagram and say how much fun you had and tell your friends so that they know to come along next week. Please do that. It actually helps massively. And let the likes of Fantasy Football Hub know that you enjoyed this too. Apparently we're at 98 likes. 2 more will be great. We'll get them from the people who watch it after the fact, but if anyone could do it now, it'd be lovely. And yeah, is that us?
That's it, yeah. Someone's asked how do they leave a review for the pick if we're not on Apple. I think he means for the pod.
Did he say pig, did he?
No, pick.
I think he said pig. I thought that was quite funny.
Maybe, unless he wants to review my new picture quality, maybe.
Maybe. We hit 100. Everyone's buzzing. We love it. Denver Millsy's there. Guy Parfit 100 plus. We've made the big time. Someone's definitely going to unlike now just to shithouse us. But yeah. Wes, was there something else? Oh, quick review. Do not ever buy this Fat Frog stuff. It's absolutely rancid. Like, I've been sitting here for an hour and 10 minutes, hour and 15 minutes, and there's a glass left. It's like horrible. Speaking of which, if any craft beer fuckers want to come and sponsor us, be our guest. I need something to drink other than this shit. Right. See you later, Wes. And everyone.
Cheers, guys.